with two evenly matched players, and I don't know how good Cat is. I know he's good, but I don't know like if he's at Core's level or above or what. I would favor
The,
Ottomans in this matchup though every time.
yeah, the thing is here is you can like with Cat, for instance, like he can play Ottoman pretty similar to the way Molly's played with just mass archers in the later
True.
game.
So let's just kind of get into this. So we have the purple player 3D Cat playing as the Ottomans. Look at those villagers work. And then we have Core, the orange English player, with also villagers working. So kind of go over the map a little bit. You'll notice how it's a little bit like Altai with a small cliffs at the sides, but it's a little bit more open as well. This is the ideal Altai.
Yeah, and instead of a lot of those like massive forests that are all connected to each other, you have a lot more of these like stealth forests, which again provides more of this like open ground, but also strategic gameplay.
Yeah, and you can see the boars in the middle of the map. Well, actually, there's 4 boars on the map, I think.
There are.
There's 2 on the right, 1 in the middle, and then there's 1 next to your base. So you're pretty much guaranteed a boar if you choose to go it. Although, of course, for Cat, the boars aren't going to benefit him at all. And for Core, he's English, so he's not going to choose to get a boar most likely.
Yeah, and both these players just going for the quicker age ups too. No early farms being dropped by Core on the English, and no military school by Ottomans because no need for those early spears against the short bows on the other side.
Yeah, sorry, I've had to fix the camera real quick. Forgot to go into casting mode. Yeah, the similarities to Altai pretty much are both players spawn with a close deer. We might need to pause for just a second. Did it pause for you when I paused?
Yeah, it does. That's why
Okay.
it does it in the same group. If it keeps doing that, we can jump in and share through Discord if it does that because I find
Yeah,
at
well,
times it
when
does
it does that, usually when you pause, it fixes it. So that should stop those stuttering pause. I don't know. That happens to me every time I cast. I feel like.
that. Yep.
Yeah. So nothing too unusual. Just kind of very standard English and Ottoman play. I'll be curious if Core goes for the 2TC play. I'm personally not a fan of 2TC versus Ottomans. I think it's, as English, I think it's bad, but what do you think?
You know, it's one that I think it's very, very greedy if you're going to go for it. But with English, that's like the only civ I could see making it work a little bit better. Just because they're English and they love to wall up. But I think Core is going to go for more of this kind of feudal age military in a sense. It doesn't look like he's over on the stone. And I think with the earlier build, you have only like 2 on the gold if you want the quicker TC and even go for stragglers.
Yeah, the reason why I like if he doesn't go for 2TC is because the great thing I find for Ottomans when they play against English, or at least when I play against English as Ottomans, if they go 2TC, you can go cast Sledge without any concerns. You're going to get all the relics, and you're going to have complete map control with no threat to you. And Ottoman Castle Age has a really big spike, especially once you can get those free knights in production as well.
Yeah, we see Cat already going over to the stone, so he is planning on military schools most likely, as the Ottoman know and love. And Core already dropping the early barracks, so he is most likely going to go more.
Core's gonna steal
no.
it!
No.
Oh no! Cat's gonna be regretting that decision. And Cat now only has one or 2 sheep, and Core just stole. That is very, very painful. I'll tell you this right now. If he wasn't Ottomans, he would probably be very tempted to leave the game. But luckily,
I think he still is tempted to leave the game.
Yeah, and maybe he does. I mean, he does still have the deer pack, and he does have his landmark for the berries, but that has got to be a very I would be so mad if that happened to me, because that's all his sheep gone right there.
That was like 6 or 7 sheep. That's like 1,000, 1,500 food, and you know, that's not only food that you're now missing, it's food that's even safer for English, so less of a transition, more of the wood that's going to be for longbows and spears, which is exactly what Core has planned right now.
Yeah. The nice thing is, though, Ottomans do have the Vizier point to get 10 extra sheep, so he should be able to use that to secure some food at home if he can for this pressure. But Core's already moving across the map. Longbows and spearmen all the way, and we don't have any production buildings for the Ottoman player. We just have the one military school.
Yeah, and there's not really a good secondary wood line for Cat to grab. He can only grab those 2 stragglers near his base, and already running out of that sheep like we saw.
Yep, sheep's gone. He's forced into his landmark. Longbows are pushing the Ottomans off. I think what you generally want to do against a pressure like this, especially when you have a forward wood line, is try to get a tower up like in front of the military school so that he can't push the wood line that way. You can have a secure wood line. But
yeah, the really hard part for this is where you'll see it in the vision a lot is English will park a scout on one side, give their longbows the vision, and give them enough range to shoot over the wood line still. So it doesn't really even matter with the outpost there. I feel like a lot of times the longbows can still get in that prime time position.
yeah, and I want to say I do like what Core is doing. I think this is the best way for English to play this matchup is to be aggressive, try to do as much pressure. He does recognize, right, that he stole all the sheep, so he should recognize that he just needs to go over to this where the mill is and start denying that food. Because once he denies the deer there, all he'll have is that landmark, and that landmark can only support 4 villagers.
Yeah, and this is just such a struggling situation for Cat. Not only was he, dropping down on the food due to the sheep, now his whole wood lines are denied. He dropped a range, which is expected, but he doesn't really have the wood to continue to produce archers and drop more military. So not going to ever be able to really catch up to Core's military production.
I'm surprised. Okay, there we go. I was gonna say I'm surprised Core isn't pushing with an outpost yet. I feel like an outpost would be one of the first things you want to do here, because he has complete control. Oh, and he used the Vizier point for him, the support unit, the Ottoman support unit that allows you to.
The meter.
I call it the support unit now. Chat makes fun of me otherwise.
How do you pronounce it?
Mater, whatever.
It is what it is.
I actually really disagree with that as the Vizier point. Because, yeah.
You see this right now?
Yeah, he's gonna lose his longbow, but he doesn't have the wood to really make much. He's got 1 archer range and 1 military school. I mean, he's doing the best he can.
Just never going to be able to match even what Core already has with the council hall and barracks, and Core still doesn't have to drop any farms. Plenty of sheep under his town center, has that grouping of longbows forward that's enough to one-shot a Vil now, and the Vils are starting to be pulled out from Cat. Spots out the outpost, but not on purpose. It was to dodge the longbow fire, and this outpost going up might just signal game.
Yeah, I mean, not only, again, he's gathering no wood at all. I think what he should do here is he should move his villagers all the way to the side and go for that side wood line. I don't think Core would scout that out, and I think it would give him the wood, the precious wood he needs. Unfortunately, it is a little late. He's deciding to go for his main secondary wood line here, trying to sneak it over there.
Yeah, gets it at a good timing, but Core has the outpost up, immediately gets that full set of vision. So not only will it give him this extra, and there it is.
And there's the GG. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that kind of went how we expected. I mean, once you saw those sheep get taken, you knew that Cat was in for a bad time. Definitely.
Yeah.
That is not how you want to start game 1 in any series, but that is how we start game number 1 with Core leading 1-0.
Yeah, it's one thing losing 1 or 2 sheep, maybe 3, but losing the whole squad of like 6 or 7 right as you're dropping off, it is just not going to ever have an ability to come back from that, really.
Yeah, so let's look at their game number 2 here. They should be pretty much starting if they haven't already.
Oh, invite me back to the group.
Oh, why didn't it keep you in there?
It's weird, AoE forward stuff.
True.
I just messaged you. Okay, cool, you got it.
Yep. Okay, so they're doing Rocky Canyon for map 2. I actually really like Rocky Canyon. And we have Rus versus English. Core as Rus, Cat as English.
Okay. I was expecting a Roos on Tempe, honestly, because of the extra bore, and I feel like it's just, a good map that people like to utilize Roos on, where I've seen it, participated in previous tournaments, but of course, saving that for Rocky Canyon here.
To be fair, I think a lot of the players probably don't know the maps, right? So they probably like I don't know how much Core looked at the maps, but I'd be surprised if he didn't actually know that there are 4 boars on that map.
Yeah. I feel like he's played it in maybe War Chief Club before, but even still, you're probably right. Probably doesn't remember it enough to make that. He's just playing what he's comfortable with, the civs he's used to.
Yeah, and by the way, JK, it's a best of 3.
So, what do you think about with the Roos versus English matchup here? I know you're a Roos enjoyer yourself.
I definitely don't think it's a bad matchup for Roos. I don't necessarily think it's Roos favored, but I don't think it's. I feel like it's a pretty even matchup. I feel like it can go either way. I think it just kind of depends on map spawns and the strategies involved. Thank you, Andy. I'll make sure to put that in there. I forgot.
Oh, for the betting.
Yeah. All right. We'll predict for game numero 2.
After that convincing game number 1.
That was a convincing game number 1. You guys will have 5 minutes for this one. For you gamblers in chat, there you go. Is Core still the best player? I mean, he's behind about, I don't know,
1 or 2.
a couple people.
Most people say he's, around there.
So the next, by the way, for those curious, the next series we will be jumping into after this will be Wham versus GUA. So, and I think we'll be able to get right into the games there. So that'll be nice.
So
So wait, this is Rocky Canyon, which is a good roost map, I think. I think Rocky Canyon was probably my most played map in the last Golden League round.
yeah, knowing your tournaments and your maps, I now know that this is not the one with water in it. But at first, I was like, all right, Dry River, Rocky Canyon, which one? But I know with your tournaments, it's not a worry in the world over here.
That's right. And it's going to be the same for the next tournament that's coming in later this month. There's not going to be a single water map. Nor markets.
Nor markets. No trade, no water.
Yep, we're just in for some good old Age of Empires 4. Without the bad stuff. Well, what I think is the bad stuff, I should say. I shouldn't be talking as if that's a fact. But for me, it's a fact.
Is it a fact if a lot of the people have the same opinion? Wham GUA going to be hectic? Of course it is. Aren't all GUA games hectic?
Just a little chaotic, a little bit of fun. Blade saving the AK? I don't know what you mean there, Ascalad. Me saving the AK.
I'm trying to follow it too. I'm not really sure.
AoE seen one mal at a time. I'm not gonna lie, Ascalad, you're doing a great job of confusing me.
Yeah. You're really doing well here.
Mother of dyslexia. Y'all are just water wimps. Shit, I haven't even had my first drink yet, Ascalad. You gotta wait for me. Happy Axie, I cannot believe you're calling us water wimps. We just enjoy the finer things in life. We like to fine dine on a nice land map, no water, have a little bit of deer, have a little bit of boar, maybe some sheep, you know? That's where we like to be. Well, I like to be. All right, and let us go into game number 2. Core versus Cat. English versus Roos on Rocky Canyon. All right, let's gotta pause again for a second here. You like salmon? I actually do like salmon too.
I like salmon.
I like seafood in general, but you know what? We're gonna ignore that part. So I wonder. Okay, Core is not gonna do it. I was gonna say I wonder if Core is gonna do the chop-in technique, but I know he said he's told me many times he hates it. So not surprised he's not doing it.
I was about to say the same. Are you a fan of it? I know you do it in playing of the games you play.
Oh yeah, it's that extra gold is so nice when you get 2 in the middle of the forest. You can get all your eco tax and you can make knights without a single villager on gold. It's really, really nice.
Yep, but he is currently only getting 18 gold per minute with his current hunting guy, but obviously that is tier 1 or not even tier 1 bounty, I guess, yet.
Yeah, I will say the one thing, the one advantage that Core's opening kind of has over the other is you go 3 scouts, so you can really rush over to your opponent's side of the map and get some bounty. Whereas with the style where you put the 2 hunting cabins, you don't typically go 3 scouts. That would put you way too behind in terms of aging.
Yeah, and that being said, he is snagging over those deer on the opposite side and a few wolves there next to it. So could be a nice bounty haul here for Core.
Yeah. Yep, he's got his deer. I think he took all of Cat's deer. And I'm pretty sure, and he's taken 2 or 3 wolves on Cat's side of the map. So he's had a very good bounty opening so far. I mean, I think he's getting 250 easily this game. As long as Cat doesn't steal his deer by his Core's base, I don't see how he doesn't get 250.
I'm pretty sure he might already be at 250. After this next wolf, he should be right around there. He actually even stole the one over on Cat's side, and he just found another one. I'll actually be able to switch on over.
I just switched. He was at 215 before that boar, so he should be at 240. And then once this wolf goes down, he'll be at 265. And then
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then once he gets the deer, he'll be at over 300.
Yeah, and that allows him to go ahead and queue up the wheelbarrow way early on and still has more than enough gold for the age up too. So just Core sitting very happy with the early game with the way Roos is playing so far.
Yeah, I will say I just realized that Cat only made 1 scout. He did not go 2 scouts. He just decided he's gonna let Core get all the bounty. Doesn't seem to be concerned about that at all, judging by his opening.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess English is, again, one of those civs that sometimes you just don't really care about what your opponent's doing. And I've seen many of players fail to even basically scout out the other side because they just do, multi-TC and boom on up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is a debate I've seen some high-level players have on is it worth going 2 scouts against Roos? Like some players don't, as Cat doesn't, but I think it generally, I would have gone 2 scouts just to try to deny as much bounty as I could. I think going 1 scout is just guaranteeing Roos to not only get 250 but 300 plus.
And Cat actually cancels his mill, changes up his build, decides he's going to go for the second TC. On the other side, Core dropping the Kremlin next to the stone and going on the stone as well. So both these players look like they are going to go for that 2TC opening.
Yeah, and there's going to be no pressure really coming in. And if Cat did decide to do some longbow pressure and Core scouted it, he has a very easy wall he could make that would cost like 15 wood, and that way his wood line and stone are protected by the Kremlin.
Yeah, Kremlin also just provides so much vision and be scouted from miles away, and those longbows so slow, so easy to react to once you have the proper vision as well.
Yeah, and Core's got 11 sheep. That's not including any that he's killed. Whereas Cat, kind of like last game, doesn't have that many sheep. He's only got 2 at home, and I don't know if his scout has any. And his scout doesn't have any either.
And that's just that three scout opening for core again, having its advantages other than just the bounty.
Yep, so my guess is that Cat is going to go that second TC, probably put it on one of the deer packs would be my assumption. At least that's what I would do, because once those sheep run out, you know, we don't have a farm transition yet. It's going to be very painful to be on only berries at that point.
Yep. About to have enough to drop that second TC, and Core already dropping into stables, wants to get a knight out to have some pressure, since he has a scout parked at that stone, knows the second TC is coming for Cat as well.
Yeah, now if Cat is going for that greedy TC, or I'm not going to say greedy, but if he's going to go for that TC on the deer, I don't think that knight will actually make it in time. The knight is still 13 seconds away. Oh, but he's
is it going to be even greedier?
Oh, he's going for the boar and the deer.
This is so greedy because that knight is going to be on its way. There's one single longbow and scout already there. Core going to be able to pull the boar himself, cause more idle time from this.
Yeah, this isn't good. And oh, and there's no way. He has no idea that this knight is on the way. Oh, this could be very, very painful for Cat here. I mean, that knight is... 2 Kremlins are also on the way. They're about almost on top of it.
Yeah, militia gonna arrive first, and then it's going to have a knight follow up, as those militia probably going to be soon to disappear.
Yeah, there's still 30 seconds, and then there's... And that knight, here comes the knight! Oh, we're going to see some Vil kills here for sure. At least 2, maybe more.
Oh, look at that.
No
unit.
way!
That was still unbelievable.
Only losing 2 villagers there actually has got to feel pretty good. I thought for sure he was losing 3, 4, maybe even 5 villagers.
Yeah, he was using the formation catch-up to kind of speed those fills around the TC, and it worked kind of perfectly. TC not really in the most prime time positioning, but able to be on top of that gold and close enough to the deer to maybe provide some cover. But now is going to be the transition to not only these farms, but hopefully some more military to defend this.
Yeah, and despite that, I mean, as we'd expect, he's 2 villagers behind, you know, with 2 Vil kills. His TC came up slightly faster than Core's, but not by much. So there's going to be a slight eco lead for Core, but I definitely don't think it's GG or anything at this point.
Core, however, clearly going for a secondary, or a third, I mean, TC, as he has another 9 Vils on this stone and only needs another couple drop-offs to go ahead and drop this next TC as well.
Yeah, I've noticed that Core likes to do this. He does really enjoy 3 TC play with Roos. I'm personally not as big of a fan because it delays your castle age so much, and I think it's much better to just go faster castle, grab the relics, and then maybe you can add a 3rd TC if you want. But that's just my personal play style. I don't think it's bad to go 3 TC.
And just how Cat wanted that deer and boar together, Core has his Vils headed over to the exact same area except on his side.
Yeah, I'm observing EPZ. And yep, so he's going to want, yeah, because obviously he wants that boar. Core should be at over 300 bounty, but he's not going to be getting 500 in this game. But I don't think he expected to be fair. Very, very hard to get that 500 bounty.
Unless he goes with a little high trade house.
True. Although, I will say this map, the high trade house, isn't really the best, it feels like, in my experience. It's very hard to get a decent high trade house because there's only one wood line, right? You don't really have any next to them. So it's really hard to optimize that high trade house on this map, I've found, at least in the games I've done.
That is true. And Scout going down for Cat. He's going to build up some walls at home and play that little bit more defensive English, probably with less of this vision. And he has started to mass up some more of those spears due to the knight from Core.
I'm actually a little surprised by these walls by Cat. I figured he would put the walls mainly, you know, where the boar is, maybe in front of that boar, and then going through the other stone by the sacred site and just kind of going away from there. That's kind of the way I expected him to wall if he was going to wall here. I don't think walling this section is really needed, especially because he's probably going to be chopping through it here in the next 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the exact same. And he is walling exactly where you were mentioning, and that's where I expected the first set of walls to go down as well. Gets a scout pickup in the middle, has a couple more spears to push back the next scout and knight from core.
Yeah, this pressure shouldn't really do too much. Again, that's the nice thing about the Kremlin. He has 5 ticks available, so he can make 10 Kremlins at any time, which is more than enough to deal with 2 spears and a longbow.
Is that what the militia are called? They're called little Kremlins?
That's what everyone calls
Gremlins?
them, but I guess you could call them militia like they're supposed to be.
You know, if everyone calls them Kremlins, I'm in for it. Knights trying to get on top of those spears and core, starting to mass up his own archers. A little bit of a now extended feudal with extra eco behind it with all the TC investment.
I will say, I don't know why, but Cat has way too many villagers on gold. If you look at a second TC, he has 13 villagers on gold, and Core, despite going 3 TCs, is going to beat the English player to Castle Age, I think, and that is not a good thing for English. As English, you want to be getting Castle Age, you should be getting Castle Age a lot quicker than Core when he goes 3 TCs here.
Yeah, really should expect him to already be going up. He does almost have 2 full sets of farms, but again, that should be way more food income coming in for him right now, and he just doesn't have it.
And there's Core going to the Castle Age with the
Abbey
Abbey
of
of
the
Trinity,
Trinity.
which is what I would expect on this map. Yeah, I'd say I don't think Cat ever scouted the stone for that 3rd TC. As far as I know, he's in the complete dark. And due to the kind of the opening he did and having too many on gold, Core's not only going to beat him to Castle Age, but he's going to get the relics and he's going to have that Vill lead that's only going to keep growing.
And look at the wall course dropping front and forward. Gonna easily secure up one of the relics behind that and just give himself a lot of map control.
Yeah, these walls are all very annoying to play against, but it is very, very nice to zone your opponent out. Your opponent obviously can't sneak this way until they break one of your walls, or they chop through one of the trees.
Couple more of the Kremlin being utilized just to push off Cat as that age up comes on through and not allow any pressure while he might be a little vulnerable.
Yeah, and I just okay. So Core is getting his blacksmith upgrades. He's just hitting that Castle Age. Cat is about halfway to Castle, but that Vill lead. We're at a 12 villager lead right now for Core. He's going to be grabbing the relics, and I think Cat will at most get 1 relic, and that's the one in the corner on his base.
Yeah, he will match the TC number going up with the King's Palace, but as you said, Core already up a good amount of vills. And the only really thing going for Cat is the already farm transition that he's gone into, and being the English going to be, you know, cheaper and better for him. So could have some sort of kind of vulnerability with Core's timing on food.
Yeah, and Core's actually going really heavy into knights. He's making 2 more stables to put him at 5. So he just kind of wants to overwhelm Cat with just knights, who is making longbows and spears, but he only has 4 longbows and 7 spears, and Core's already at 4 knights? 5 knights now?
The good thing for Cat, though, he can start to make some crossbowmen out of that council hall now if he desires. He parked a couple of those longbows on that relic, but look at how tanky that warrior monk is. Just able to pull back this relic, kite back these longbows, and looks like he might even be able to outrun those longbows with the relic.
Yep, he definitely outrun those, so easy relic. And Cat's also trying to deny the relic close to the right-hand side with a couple of spears. And that will deny one of the warrior monk, unless Core sends some knights with it. But I think Core's trying to hide his knights right now. He's not moving them out to raid. He's just kind of keeping them behind the Kremlin. And at this point, Cat has not scouted this, so he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know anything that Core's doing at this moment other than taking the relics.
Yeah, and core knight number massing up fast, has 4 more in queue, so going to be up to 12 knights in just a second. Only 7 spears on the other side, so nowhere close to that number. That other relic is being picked up. Spears on top of it. One more shot will pick up the warrior monk.
Wait, do warrior monks don't outrun spears with the relic, do they? Okay, there we go.
Just took a good bit, but we'll secure that up for Core. Again, Core starting to eat through a lot of this food. Only a few more deer carcasses and going on to the berries, which is not the preferential spot, but the night mass is high and scary. Cat's starting to get his military a little bit together, but if Core dives on top of this, I think it's going to be a clean wipe for him.
Oh yeah, because Cat's actually only has 7 spears, and he's mixing in men-at-arms now, which English men-at-arms are good, but you do need a healthy mix to deal with the knights. He is only on 3 barracks now, so at least he's got the barracks pumping. But yeah, if Core were to jump on this now, he would easily clean this army.
Instead, leaving himself a little vulnerable, Berry villagers starting to get attacked on, and just is going to lose a little bit and have a good bit of idle time. But this has forced a little bit of a reaction, pulling some of these knights on over, and might just be the first little dive.
I think Core has enough knights, and I think this is where Cat's going to go, uh-oh. I mean, he knows he's not winning this fight. There's anyone who sees this knows these knights are going to clean this up. There's just not enough there's not enough spears, there's no crossbows. And men-at-arms don't deal with knights very well, you know, unless you have a ton.
Yep, and this is the point where if you're English, you go, okay, I need to start massing up a ton of spears at home and pumping crossbows. All 4 barracks need to be all on top of spears. No more men-at-arms coming out at all.
And I don't know, did Core even lose a knight there? I mean, he must have, I'm guessing, but...
I think he lost 1 single knight.
Yeah, so he crushed that army and lost a knight. That's a great trade.
10 men-at-arms, 12 men-at-arms, and 6 spears yet again. So not really the greatest, but this time, this is going to be a little bit of a better battle because he has the network of castles bonus and has that defender's bonus with immediately massing up more units there.
Yeah, and the men-at-arms are a bit tankier too, so the spears might be doing more damage than they normally would because of that. Though, it doesn't matter in the end. Still 15 knights against, you know, 4 spears, or 5 spears.
Yep. A couple more longbows even came out. No crossbows yet at all. Vill's helping in on the backside. Just anything that he possibly can. But numbers not going to be enough in Core. Just knights remaining pretty healthy, but getting closer to falling.
Yeah, his knights are starting to be taken care of. He still has 11, but more and more spears are pumping out of 5 barracks right now. So, Core's not... He is getting some Vil kills, not a ton, but it's still enough to where this attack was probably pretty worth it, especially if he does a transition into, like, archers. But looking at it, he's only adding more stables. He's not adding in archery ranges at this time.
And he went with the mangonel, but doesn't really have a ton to protect that mangonel if Cat is just able to keep massing up these melee units and actually get enough of a spear mass. Has a few crossbows finally on the backside as well.
Yep, and a forward keeping drop too.
Oh.
I think this keeps going to go up.
Here.
Yeah, there's not enough.
Not enough here to defend this. Oh, crossbows took an immediate mangonel shot, and those are all going to be one shot by the knights after this. Not even going to need that.
Yeah, and I mean, Cat does have a very good English food income. He has almost double what Core has in food income, but his army is just, it's shrinking. Although Core is only at 16 military right now, so it's not like his military is much bigger than Cat's at the moment.
Yeah, it just still has that quality. He has 16 knights. I mean, it's just that's the big problem right now. But we have seen English turtle up plenty of times. One of the mills on the backside doesn't have, or one of the farms set doesn't have a mill built on the backside in the midst of it. So a little bit of inefficient food gathering back there by Cat. Probably dropped it in the midst of some wildness here at the front.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake not to finish that, but we've all done that. Believe it or not, I have a couple times in my day. I will say though, one mistake I think that Cat is making is he only has, the council hall and one archery range, and he has 6 crossbows in queue, but he's not getting them out fast enough because he doesn't have the production. He needs a
Yep.
couple more archery ranges.
Drops one more on the backside. Has a ton of those barracks though, and dropping another siege workshop. But Woodline starting to get pretty thin. He's on the backside of this front one, and the keep is denying his secondary one, and very initial one, all the way chopped through almost.
Yep, and we have 3 trebuchets working down the landmarks. So right now, time's going to start ticking for Cat here, where he needs to be able to deal with these trebuchets, because after the King's Palace, Council Hall, the town center, those aren't that far away.
Yeah, not only that, he needs to start building a ton more houses, getting pop capped a little bit, siege coming out a little bit slower. He does prioritize the trebuchet himself to start sieging down this keep on the other side. And then it's going to be Springalds.
Yep, definitely want those Springalds, because you know that, or at least you're expecting the English player to start making Springalds to deal with your siege. And there was a little chop through over on the left by the wood line, but Cat noticed it and was able to stop it before Core could kill anything with his knights.
Yeah, and we see Core just taking the berries all over the map, just has the map control, taking all the pocket eco, has a few sets of farms, but still just trying to delay that full transitions to farm as long as he possibly can.
Yeah, and Core's doing very good on his eco upgrades. Actually, so is Cat. He's starting to, get close to max as well. They both are. Cat has a pretty decent sized military now.
Runs out of that wood line on the backside. Let's see where he attempts to go with those villagers for the next set of wood.
Yeah, I mean, he's mined out that backside, as you said, is mined out. He's almost mined out his big wood line that was in his base.
Mangonel shots over the wood line. Core knows where the villagers are, knows that Cat walled up that spot, so just went ahead and ground attacked over that wood line.
Ooh, but getting sniping those mangonels is really, really nice without losing a single Springald from Cat. Very good micro from him there.
And then he has a nice Springle trade on the other side. Will take some damage on the trebuchet. Oh, he started to heal it, but didn't pull it back in time.
Yeah, you're starting to notice that the nerf to the trebuchet health, that while they got cheaper in the last patch, they are weaker as well, and they died to 3 Springald shots instead of what it used to be 4.
Yep. You can get them out rather quicker, which is nice. Allows that transition a little bit faster. Springalds are trading, but they are out of position, and Cat loses his whole entire Springald mass, and the Knights just charged in and obliterating everything. And the crossbow stepping up on the backside with Core dropping yet another keep. Knows that if he secures this wood line, it is game over.
Yeah, I will say the thing is, Core probably should pull back. He just lost all of his Knights, and actually I think that was a bad fight by him, because he doesn't have any mangonels and he doesn't have keep support. So Cat was able to is able to hold this, but yeah, not able to stop that keep from going up, and those landmarks are now in a lot of danger.
Yeah, not only that, you're about to see his wood income go down to just about 0. Has a few straggler trees randomly around his base. He hasn't quite finished on up. But other than that, he's going to have to start buying wood or sneaking out and finding some stealth forest or some other random wood line.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the only other way he can get wood right now, and would probably get away with it, is if he made a gate on his palisade walls and snuck to the bottom left, but that's not a big tree line there. There's like 10 trees, and that's about it.
Better than anything else he can get, and Core dropping the high armory behind this, going to go up to Imperial Age while he is sieging down this front line. Doesn't have a ton of infantry, but has the siege superiority, and that's what counts right now.
Yeah, I mean, and now Cat's losing all his production. I'm a little surprised Core isn't focusing more on the landmarks. I feel like there's nothing Cat can really do about it, and the faster you kill that council hall in the town center, you just win the game.
Yep. Has those 7 Springles, but the key for Core immediately getting Roller Shutter triggers and Banded Arms. Those Springles gonna get the extra range, and then we're gonna see Core just sniping the Siege from another screen away.
Yeah, and right after I said that, I realized, oh, that's why 7 Springholds by Cat, only 3 by Core. That makes a little bit more sense why he's not going for those 2 landmarks. And Cat does take out one of the keeps.
Yeah, but now, even with 7 Springles versus 3, with the Banded Arms upgrade, with the extra Roller Shutter triggers range, it doesn't really even gonna matter, and that's exactly what's popping out of those Siege workshops as well for Core, is a couple more Springles.
Yeah, and look at that food drop, by the way. Cat is only has 870 food per minute. You know, he was at almost 2,000, but he still hasn't noticed that that mill isn't finished either, where he's gathering from 8 farms. Very, very painful.
Ooh, we see the Berkshire getting pretty close to finishing up, but Trebuchets have been taking it down. Knights charge down on top of that. Imperial Age finishes attempts to secure that next wood line, like we know is so detrimental. Crossbow stepping up, fighting on top of that keep.
Yeah, he's desperate for a fight. He's not even gonna win. Not only is he not gonna win the fight, but he lost all his Springles as well, and is now
Lost all his
Berkshire.
Springles. Yep. He had to go onto that front side gold and just, you know, really, really good aggression by Core with the timing, with the mass Knights, and knew the Cat didn't have enough to stop it.
Yeah, and you know, looking at those stats, actually, the food is a little closer than I thought between Core and Cat, but everything else is very, very Core favored in that game. I think it just kind of came down to lack of scouting on Cat's side. He didn't really scout. He didn't realize what his opponent was doing, going 3 TC, didn't realize the Knights, and it really kind of bit him in the butt there.